Today we are talking about the lesson planning. Main principles of communicative teaching. Communicative teaching involve meaningful, enjoyable, involving, positive reinforcement, use of target language, mistake, natural, suitable material, interactive. Answer the four questions, discuss your answer with your peer, report to the group. Why is lesson planning important? How is lesson planning important for the teacher or for the learners? What do you take into account when you design a lesson plan? What constant components are there in your lesson plan? Why is lesson planning important? Being clear on what you want to teach, being ready to cope with whatever happens. Give your teaching a framework and overall shape, a reminder for the teacher when they get distracted. It suggests a levels of professionalism and real commitment. How is lesson planning important for the teacher and the learner? For the teacher, they don't have to think on their feet. They don't lose face in front of their learners. They are clear on the procedure to follow. They build on previous teaching and prepare for coming lessons. For the learner, they realize that the teacher cares for their learning. They attend a structured lesson, easier to assimilate. They, they appreciate their teacher's work as a model of well organized work to imitate. What do you take into account when you design a lesson plan? 5 guiding principles. 1. Variety. 2. Coherence. 3. Balance. 4. Flexibility. And 5. Challenge. So these are the 5 guiding principles in when you design a lesson plan. What is variety? Why vary? To meet different learning styles, theorist, activist, pragmatic, reflector. To consider different intelligence types. To keep them interested in avoid monotony. What to vary? Contents, activities, interaction modes, materials, aids. How to vary? VAK approach. Ways of varying these different components. Tempo or pace. Activities may be brisk and fast moving, such as guessing games, or slow and reflective, such as reading or responding in writing. Number 2, organization. The learners may work on their own, at individualized tasks, or in pairs or groups, or as a full class in interaction with the teacher. Mode and skill. Activities may be based on these written or spoken language, and within these they may vary to ask whether the learner are asked to produce, speak or write, or receive, listen or read. Number 4, difficulty. Activities may be seen as easy and non demanding or difficult, requiring concentration and effort. Number 5, mood. Activities vary also in mood, light and fun, based versus serious and profound, happy versus sad, tense versus relaxed. Number 6, stir, settle. Some activities in live in and excite learners, such as controversial discussions for advanced levels, or activities which involve physical movement, such as the race dictation. For the lower levels, others like dictation have the effort. Other like dictation have the effect of calming them down. Number 7, active passive. Learner may be activated in the way that encourage their own initiative, or they may only be required to do as they are told. Coherence. Observe a logical pattern to the lesson. There has to be connection between the different activities in the lesson. Smooth transition is one of the pillars that ensures the success of the lesson plan. During Implementation in the classroom. An activity in a lesson builds on a previous one and prepares for the next. Challenge. Learners are intelligent human beings and comes to the class with the knowledge previously acquired. The new lesson should add to that knowledge without excess. The lesson that does not challenge is a lesson that does not motivate. No learning happens if the lesson doesn't present new item beyond students' previous knowledge. Flexibility. Two dimensions. A. Ability to use numbers of different techniques and not to be slave to the one methodology. Principled eclecticism. B. Ability to change the plan if it shows an inappropriacy to the classroom. Real situation for one reason or the other. Balance. The lesson is a mixture of number of ingredients, techniques, activities, contents. The successful teacher is one who is able to observe the right dosage and makes the learners enjoy a savory lesson. What do you take into account when you design a lesson plan? Objectives set out to be achieved. Prior knowledge of learners, materials and didactic auxiliaries to be used, tasks and activities to select and sets grouping patterns, interaction modes, timing and time management. Component of a lesson plan. Number 1, information about the learners. Student: who, how old, quite agitated, cooperative, how many. Component of a lesson plan. Number 2, objectives. Objectives enables learner to official program, module map, textbook, students needs. Component of a lesson plan. Number 3, procedure. Procedures: what to do, how to do, how much time, who does what, logical sequencing. Component of a lesson plan. Number 4, aids. Textbook plus worksheets, board wallpaper maps, audio visual aids, OHP, laptop data show, Realia. Anticipated difficulties and reserved tasks. What might go wrong, how to deal with it. Hints for lesson management. Prepare more than you need. It is advisable to have an easily presented light reserve activity ready in case of extra time. Number 2, similarly note in advance with components of the lesson you will sacrifice if you find yourself with a too little time to do everything you have planned. Number 3, keep an eye on your time. Make sure you are aware of during the lesson how time is going relative to your plan, including timing in the plan itself. It is difficult to judge intuitively how time is going when you are busy, and the smooth running of your lesson depends on some extent on proper timing. Number 4, do not leave giving of homework to the last minute. At the end of the lesson, learner's attention is at low ebb, and you may run out of time before you finish explaining. Number 5, if you are doing group work, give instruction and make sure these are understood before dividing the class into groups. And even if practicable before handing out materials. If you do it other way around, people will be looking at each other and material you have given them, they are less likely to attend to what you have to say. Suggested format of a lesson plan. A, goals. A unifying theme and overall general purpose to accomplish by the end of the lesson period. For example, student will increase their familiarity with the conventions of telephone conversations. B, objectives. Implicitly state implicitly state what you want student to gain from the lesson. What student will do, be sure you know what it is you want to accomplish. Preserve the unity of your lesson. Predetermine whether or not you are trying to accomplish too much. Evaluate students' success at the end of or after. Objectives. Final learning outcome that you will need to measure and evaluate. For example, student will develop inner expectancy rules that enable them to predict and anticipate what someone else will say on telephone. Number 2, student will solicit and receive information by requesting it over the phone. See materials and equipment. Tape recorder, tape, poster, map, handout, OHP. Procedures. There is so much variations here that it is hard to give any recipes. But make sure your plan includes an oral test, an opening statement or activity as warm up for the lesson itself, a set of activities and techniques in which you have considered appropriate proportion of time for whole class work, group and a pair work, talk, teacher and student talk, closure, homework, evaluation. Thank you for listening.